course, share screen. Yes. And now guys, I'm sharing my screen. And again guys, let's just check once more if it is like visible or not. So guys, screen visible. If it is yes, again guys, you can just send plus. If no, like just rejoin, I guess that works. So guys, like write all of you, I have to see like everyone is writing. So then I will be sure to start. Oh, come on, how does this? So yeah, I guess we can now start because that's visible for all. And now guys, let's start with the question 1. You can see on your screen. And then once you finish guys, write your answers in the comments. Then we will start. So I guess we can start now, right? Because that's not that hard question, like to give 3 to 5 minutes. So on a plot of land, 42% of the square footage is farmland and the remaining square footage is pasture. Like you guys have the square footage and 42% is the farmland and the remaining, like which is 58%, is the pasture. There are buildings on exactly 34% of the square footage of the farmland, and then like exactly there are buildings on exactly 18% of the square footage of the pasture. If there are buildings on exactly P% of the square footage of the plot of land, what is the value of P? Guys, we just have to find like what is the total percentage of the buildings, right? So first of all, guys, if you want to find, like let's say X is the square footage, and we know that the farmland is 42% of it, so that's gonna be now like 0.42X. And then that's the farmland. Then we got like pasture, which is 0.55x. And after guys, there are buildings on exactly 34% of the square footage of the farmland. So to find the buildings guys in the farmland, it is 0.34 multiplied by 0.42x. Like guys, 0.44, 0.42 is the number form. Like we are converting the percentage to the number. And from the pasture, the buildings are now 18%. So 0.18 times 0.58x. And you just have to add them all, like let's say buildings 1 and building 2 to find the total percentage. And here guys, I'm going to use the decimals, like 0.44 times 0.42, 0.42 and added like 0.18 multiplied by 0.58. And now guys, you have like something in number form, right? So we just, by the way guys, I'm not writing that x, like because I will be explaining now. You just have to multiply it by 100 to convert to the percentage. And now we're having 24.72. Like, so what guys concluded? 24.72% of x is the buildings. So the final answer is 24.72. That's all. Like we're just finding the boss percentages and adding, and then the answer is 24.72. That's all. So, and then we can move on to the question 2. This is guys the most common question like I've seen like ever. And there is just a Desmos way we have to solve this. So let's solve this. So of course we can start now. Yep guys, that's easy Desmos question. Like do not think about, just write it to the Desmos. You guys have the expression, right? The expression like 12x fourths plus 47x squared plus 11 can be written as this, means that they are equal, right? So I'm gonna use the Desmos, equalizing them. And here guys, we're gonna use x1. I will explain why guys. Plus, so plus we have 47x1 square plus 11. And guys, I'm going to use the tilde sign. Why? Because there are like variables a, b, right? A, b, where are the positive integers, and c, d, like where they are positive non-integers. Like to find the variables, guys, we always use the tilde sign. And here it is like 3x1, right? 3x1 square plus a, and then we have like 4x1 square plus that one like B. And here guys, all the time don't forget like to add x1 like equals random, let's say 5 numbers. So why guys, what's the purpose here? Because Desmos randomly takes the 5 values for the x1 and put it into the like equation above, and then calculates the value of A and B. Guys, whenever you are using just two expressions equal to each other, use this method. And do not forget to add x1 equals random 5. So the Desmos do the calculation itself. And now we're assuming the values of A and B. And the same with the second equation, like we guys have this one. And then like the same equation, guys, look, if you write it, if you write it in this form here, you just have to change one thing. Like you just have to change one thing. Here we got like C and D. Look guys, it is again giving us the same value. So what I do, I will replace the brackets. I will take this one here and then this one. So guys, look, it is giving us non-integer values. Like the first, it gives me like both integer, but now it is non-integers. And question is asking to find A plus C, and now it is 11.75. That's all. This is our final answer here. Yep, I guess that's all understandable and clear, so we can move on. Yeah, question 3. This is the exponential function, and so easy, guys. I hope like I'm gonna see more answers for this one. So I guess we can start now. The number of the bacteria in a liquid medium doubles every 2 hours, like doubling, guys. It means it is just increased by 100%. There are 66,000 bacteria in the liquid medium 4 hours after the start. Like after 4 hours, you guys have 66,000. Question is asking, should the following represent the number of bacteria? Why in the liquid medium T hours after the start of the observation? Guys, I guess like you don't have to use the Desmos here, right? Like let's understand it first. Like y equals, we have to write the initial number, and that's now doubling. Let's write A, and if it is double, 2. And guys, if it is an exponential functions, like if it is increasing every 2 hours, maybe every 3 hours, or like year, months, no matter, it is all the time just x divided by 2, like the amount itself. And then guys, it is something like the function here, and we know that when x is 4, the value is 66,000, right? So you guys can easily eliminate the option A and B, because that 60,000 cannot be our like initial value. It must be something less. And we have C and D, and 1 in the power T over 2 is the correct answer. Like that's all, guys. Find the initial value, doubles, and look at the power. Like it must be T over 2 if it is increasing every 2 hours. That's all. So I guess that's also clear, right? We have all the correct, like same answers. So I will be giving the answers now. Like question 4. Yeah, that one is also just Desmos question. So everything again done by the Desmos. Look, guys, like out of the 4 questions we did so far, like if I'm not mistaken, 3 we did solve by using the Desmos, or like all. So the positive number A is 80% of the positive number B. Okay, guys, what we'll do, like we're gonna use these square brackets, like this are used to equalize like two things. For example, here we have A, which is equal 48% of the number B. And then after A is 90% less than the number C. So again, guys, A is 90% less. If it is 90% less, guys, use this thing, like 100, which is the original percent, subtracting 90, percentage of what? We got C. That's all. Like if it is 90% less, you guys are having like 10%. So A is 10% of C. And after, the question is saying that if C is P% of B, that's all. Like C is P% of B. And then, guys, we are having the value of P is 4800, which is going to be our final answer. That's all. So I guess that's also clear, right? Like if you have question, you guys can write it there. But now it is all. Question 4 is done. Oh. Okay, let's just solve the question 5 and then we do. So this one is the linear function, the common question type, which is also done by using the Desmos. One more thing, write your answers in a way that you will write in the real exam. As you know that you will be given like exact amount of space to enter your answers, and now you also have to do the same, guys. So yeah, look guys, yeah, you are solving in the right way, correct, that's good, but in the end guys, if you couldn't write the correct answer, then like there's no way, like no point like finding the correct. What I do guys, here I will use this method. I'm gonna write the function f of x equal to what? Like r plus sx. Guys, here I'm also seeing some negative answers. Please look at the values correctly. What is that asking exactly? And then I'm gonna enter two values, so I'll be using f of, and inside guys, again, that square bracket. So I will first write the x values here. I'm gonna write the x values, so which are 12 and negative 36. Guys, any 2 points are enough for the linear functions. Any 2 points, 12 and negative 36. And outside, I will write like the corresponding y values. The corresponding y values are 284 and 848. So I'll be writing 284 and then 848. Guys, look, we have the values of r and then s. The question is asking, guys, r minus s, like it is r minus s. So I'll be writing r minus s. And look at the answer, 426.75. And here, guys, 426.75. As I'm telling you guys, in the exam, you will be given like 5 space to enter your answers. And now I'm writing 4, 3, 6 point, and we guys are having like 2 numbers, like 75. So that means you have to round now. Like someone asked, when do I know how to round? Here, guys, like if your answer is not fit into the given space, you have to round. And guys, we have like 7 here, right? We have to round that 7, and we look for the 5. And if it is, guys, 5, like 6, 7, 8, 9, you will round up. Here, guys, 75 will be what? 8. That's all. 436.8, guys, is the final answer here. If that was like 4 or like maybe less than 4, then it will be rounded like 426.7. But now, since that is 5, we are rounding up. The final answer 426.8. That's all. So guys, is this now clear when to round the answers? Guys, clear? You can just write yes or no. Yeah, guys, you can also solve by using the table, no matter, like still the same, but I like solving in this way, like just entering the 2 values and then getting the values of R and S. Of course, by the way, guys, for the negative answers, you will be given 1 more space. If your answer is in negative, like you will get 1 more space, but now the answer is positive, so you will get 5 space to write the answers. Now let me delete this thing. And then question 6 we have. The most common geometry question. Like, I don't know, for me that is because I all the time just like fed up like explaining this kind of the questions. I don't know why. But still we're having this question. So guys, let's solve. So I guess we can start now, right? Great. Guys, first of all, let's understand some basic rules about like similarities. Whenever the question is saying something about similarity, guys, just know one thing. Like all the time, if the 2 shapes are similar, we have the ratio of sides, guys. Ratio of sides. Like let's say it is a1 over a2, which is equal to like constant k. Guys, if the shapes are similar, we know that the corresponding sides are always gonna have the same ratio. Like no matter the radiuses or the heights, guys, they don't be the same. Like the heights or the radiuses are not gonna be the same in similar shapes. The ratio of them is gonna be the same. And if it is k, the ratio of the sides, and guys, we have the ratio of like areas, the ratio of areas, it is always, let's say, S1 divided by S2 equals k squared. That's all. Like area is measured in something in square, so therefore it must be k squared as well. And lastly, guys, we have the ratio of volumes, like ratio of volumes. So it is gonna be what? It is volume 1 divided by volume 2. The ratio is measured in what? Like in cubic inches, like in cubic, right? So it must be something k cubed. That's all, guys. This is now the concept of the equation here. And now let's move on. You guys are given what? The table shows the volume of the two similar solids, right? Circle in the cylinder A and cylinder B, the height. Guys, look, that was given now height. Like I saw some guys solve with the radius. No, it is height equals 8 units. And then the surface area of the right circle B is m. The surface area of is n. The question is asking n minus m. To find the surface area, guys, the formula 2 pi radius squared plus 2 pi r h. So first of all, we have to find the radius. And how? Just using the volume formula. We know that volume is p radius squared times height. And now I'm gonna move to the decimals, guys. First of all, write your height, which is equal to 8. And to find the radius, I'll be using the formula radius squared multiplied by height equals now 392. And that's showing us the radius is 7. And guys, just calculate what is the surface area. So I will be writing m. Guys, I'm not using the pi's because they will cancel. So I'm writing m equals now the formula 2 radius squared plus 2 radius h. 210, guys, is the first surface area, the surface area of A. And by using the ratio, guys, you can find another surface area. Like, do not find the radiuses or heights. Use the ratio. So, but first, we need the value of k. I'm gonna use the ratios of the volumes, right? Ratio of the volume 10,584 divided by 584 divided by 392, guys, is now equal to k cubed. And as you guys can see, the value of k is 3. So the ratio of their side is 3. So the ratio of their surface areas is 9. And here, guys, I will be writing like n divided by m must be k squared, like their surface areas. And there you go, guys. Just write everything. So n now equals m multiplied by k squared. Guys, I guess that's all clear, right? Where you can also write it in this way, like n divided by m equals to k squared. No. Like, we have to write the values of k here as well, m 210. And then it is showing where you guys can just write it in the first way, m multiplied by k squared. 1890, guys, 1890 is the surface area of the second right circular pyramid. That's all. And now the question is asking n minus m. So the final answer is 1680. That's all, guys. This is the way to solve the question. First of all, guys, find the radius and then the similarity ratio, which is k, and use the ratio. Like use this map, the concept, and then you can get the answer. Move on, guys. Question 7. Another like good question, quadratics and then the linear function. We can start now. Look, guys, the question is saying that we got a like quadratic equation and the linear function which are intersecting at the one place, like one point, which means we have one solution. And which of the following can be x coordinate, guys? That's now asking about like x coordinate of the solution. So what I do, guys, here I will just equalize x squared minus 2x plus 18 equals 4x plus u. And then, guys, if you like move everything to the left side, you're gonna have x squared minus 6x plus 18 minus u equals to 0. And guys, this quadratic equation, like x squared minus 6x plus 18 minus u, have one solution. And if it is, guys, has the one solution, it means it is just like this. Like the solution, guys, is the x coordinate of the vertex. Your solution, guys, is just the x coordinate of the vertex all the time. And now to find the x coordinate, we know the formula negative b divided by 2a. And now guys, x0, like which is your solution, is found by 6 divided by 2, which is equal to 3. That's all. Guys, when you have this kind of equation, like quadratic and linear, saying it has one solution, and if it is asking x coordinate of the intersection point, create a new equation and find the x coordinate of the vertex. That's all. That is going to be your solution. So, yep. And then, I guess that's clear. Isn't it faster just to put it? Like, where you put it. Like, where you put it. Instead of you or where. Like, where to put. Instead of you. So, yeah, guys, this is now question 8. And that's, guys, new question here. Like, let's say, created like yesterday. And let's see, guys, how you can solve this one. So, let's start the explanation. A circle has endpoints of diameter at 0, -13, 24, -3, right? And if the equation of the circle can be written as x squared plus ax plus y squared plus by plus c equals to 0, what is the value of a plus b plus c? So guys, look, what we do here. First, like, let me guys tell you my way. Like, first, I want to do the equation in this way. Create the equation y squared here. Like, you are gonna have y squared equals minus x squared plus ax minus, by the way. Like, I'm just moving everything to the right side, minus by and minus c, right? And you guys have now like the 2 points, which are the endpoints of the diameter, like x values and y values. The first 0, -13, 24, -3, and the last one, guys, you can easily find the center coordinates, right? By using the midpoint, you can easily find the center coordinates. Like, let's just write to the decimals. Like midpoint of like the 2 points are 0, -13, and after, so 24, -3, -3. This is are now like 12 and -8, guys, is the center coordinate, like center coordinate of the circle. So I'll be writing the last point is 12 and -8, and I want to write this thing to the decimals. Like, first of all, creating the table and entering all the values, like I have 0, -13, and then after 24, -3, and finally 12, -8. And I want to write this equation in this way, y1 and minus, like, okay guys, let's open the common, like, minus for all, and then ax1 square plus bx1 and plus like we have y1 square here. Yeah. Wait. Like x1 square plus this must be ax1 and plus by1 plus c. Yeah. Yesterday it also didn't work. What if I do like this? Shit. No, it's not working. Yep. Still, it is not working here. Okay, what we do now? We will go in the same way like you guys did. First, you guys found the center coordinates, right? 12 and -8 is the center coordinate, and we can easily find the radius by using the distance, right? Like, that's the distance now between 0, -13, like 0, -13, and like we can easily write 12, -8. So guys, now our radius equals like 13 here. What are we gonna do? Guys, on the left side, I will create the circle equation itself, like the original circle equation. So we're gonna have x1 minus 12 square plus y1 minus, actually it will be plus square, and must be, guys, like equal to radius square, right? Like 13 square, but now I will just move it to the left side, so it's be minus 13 square, and I will equalize it by again using the tilde sign to the thing given in the equation, like it is equal to this thing. So write it again, guys. x1 square plus ax1 plus y1, okay, set square plus by1 plus c. And all the time, guys, again, you are using like the values x1, y1. Do not forget to add random, guys. x1 equals random 5, and the same for y1, because we are using like two values here, x1 and y1. And then, guys, you can get the actual values of a, b, c. Because, yeah, guys, I saw that some of you are still getting the answer 31, but the point is there is no correct values of a, like that's showing a 29, b 1, c 1, but actually a must be negative 24, b 16, c 39. And guys, this is gonna be our correct answer. So guys, is this now clear? Let me ask again. The first method I also tried yesterday, but something was different. Now I did the other way, but still it didn't work. If there's a 1 who can solve by fully decimals, you guys can write. Yep. Oh, we've got a highway as well. That's also great. So, Arabic. I want to just create a table because I have 3 values, right? I was having the 3 values here, and I just want to write this into the decimal, so it has to find like A, B, C. First of all, I just think in this way, but it didn't show like yesterday and today as well. If you can do, you guys can send after the lesson maybe. So, and now it is question 9. Oh, do you guys know how did you get the center? I didn't understand. The center is the just middle of these 2 coordinates because it is the end point of the diameter. So I just find it by using the midpoint, like midpoint of the 2 points, which are 0, negative 13, 0, negative 13, comma, 24, negative 3. This is now the center coordinate, 12 and negative 8. And then I found the radius by using the distance formula, then created the equation on the left side of the circle and equalized to the given expression and got the values of a, b, c. So yeah, and I have to show the question 9 now. So yep, the answer is of course 4 here. So why? Just understand the question well. For how many of the observations do the line of best fit predict a greater number of mutations than the actual number? So guys, here dots are the actual number and the line of best fit is the predicted. And just check with one, guys, if you take this dot, like the actual number of mutations here, around like 120, but the line of best fit is showing something like 140, right? And for that point, which is below the line of best fit, guys, it is predicted a greater, like the line of best fit is predicting greater than the actual value. So you just have to take all the values that are below the line of best fit, which are overestimated. They all are overestimated, and therefore the answer is just for here. Like in 4 days, guys, the number of the mutations predicted greater. That's all. Like that one easy. And here you go, guys. Question 10, geometry. And as you guys can see that we have like 2 questions here. So write your answers like in one message, just in one message. The first one is something, the second is something. So I guess we can start now, right? Like we have 26 answers. And let's see. So for the first, data is so easy, like similarity rules, right? We have a triangle ABC and D is parallel to AC. AD equals 3 times BD, like AD equals 3 times BD. So if it is like X, guys, so AD is gonna be 3X. That's all. And after, DE is 12 and BE is 20. So that is 20 now. And guys, the question is asking BC. So we're gonna use the similarity here because the triangle DBE and ABC are similar, right? We just have 2 similar triangles and the ratio of the corresponding sides. Like here, guys, AB is 4X divided by BD, corresponding is X. And here, BC is, let's say, BC divided by BE, which is 20. X's cancel, BC now equals to 80. That's all, easy. And now question is asking the area of the quadrilateral ADEC. Guys, it's the quadrilateral, or you can just say the trapezoid, right? And one thing, guys, just understand. To find the area of the trapezoid, let's say this A, B, height, we'll just use the formula S equals, like A plus B divided by 2 multiplied by height. That's all. This is, guys, A plus B divided by 2. It's the midline, like something, the line in the middle. And then we're going to use this formula. So we know DE is 12 and the ratio of the side is 4, right? So AC is going to be 48 here. And then after, guys, we have to find the value of X. So by using the Pythagorean, X squared plus 12 squared equals 20 squared, you can find the value of X, which is 16. So this is also now 48. That's all, guys. In the trapezoid, like this is 12, 48, and then the 48. And I'm going to use the formula here. So area now equals 12 plus 48 divided by 2 multiplied by 48. That's all. 1440, guys, is the final answer here. The next one is, yeah, I'm just writing the answer, 1440. That's all. Yeah, I guess it is all clear, right? Just the formula, that's all. And now we're moving to question 11. Guys. Yeah, that is also unit converting question, edited version, let's say, edited. And let's try to find the answer. And now let's start. So read the question and understand well. A turtle walks 3 miles every k years, guys. I just like wrote it randomly. Which of the following can be equal to how long the turtle can walk in meters after m months? Like m months, guys. Understand? You have to find how long that turtle walk in m months, right? So I will start writing m months. And I have to find in this m months how long it walk in meters. So in the end, I must have something with meters, right? So what I do here, first of all, guys, I will convert that months to year because I have something like k year, 3 miles. And then to convert, I'm gonna write months to the below. And we know that 12 months equal to 1 year. So why I'm writing months to the below? Because this month and this one just cancel. And after, what you guys have about the year? guys, it is given 3 miles every k year. So I'm gonna write k year to the below and 3 miles to the top, because that like k year is equal to 3 miles, or 3 miles equal to k years, and the year cancels. And again, guys, you have to find in meters, right? You have to find in meters. So you are given 1 mile equals 1609 meters. And again, I will multiply and write. Look, guys, mile in the below. So 1 mile now equals 1609 meters. And the mile cancel. That's all, guys. Now you're only having something with meter. So this is the final answer. Like there is nothing to convert or to do the to convert. So we have to do the calculation now. It is like 12 here and 3 in the top. So 3 and 12 cancel. Like we are having 4. And after you guys have 1609 m, right? This m and 1609 divided by 4 times like k. We have 4k. That's all. So therefore, the final answer is B here. Just unit converting, guys. Unit converting. Just write one, like what to convert. I have to convert m months to the meters. So I started writing with m months and then converted to the meters in the end. So guys, is this now understandable? Like clear? No, not prediction, just a prediction. If we're like solving with the time, but not like 3 to 5 minutes each question, let's move on. I hope that was understandable and clear. Yeah, great. Question 12. So 51 over 70, of course, is the correct answer. So why? Understand, the table above shows the number of students from 3 different schools and their grades in the final exam. If one of the students is selected randomly, what's the probability of a student who got at least 90, given that the student scored at least 85? Guys, understand? Like in probability, we just have like the target. I like do like this, divided by the subtotal. And one thing, guys, the subtotal is all the time just equal to the word like given that, like the thing after the given that. So what does it mean? Look, guys, you're selecting one student randomly, but it is not specifying any group, but in the end it is. Given that the student scored at least 85, which means you're selecting a student from those who got 85. Okay? Like the students who got at least 85 means, guys, you just have to eliminate these people. Like we don't have these people here. It must be only like this table. And guys, let's just do like this because we need these numbers. And calculate, guys, how many people got a score of 85. You can just add them all where 65 is the total people. Subtract 25. So 65 minus 25 and added 65 minus in school B 18 and added 65 minus 12. I'm just eliminating those who got less than 85. And from these students, guys, you need a probability of a student who got at least 90. So if it is at least 90, now you have to eliminate those who got less, which are these people. Like you don't have. And in the top, guys, for the target, you have to choose these people. Let's add them all. 20 and 70 plus, okay, 18 plus 21, 16, and 10. That's all. We're having this answer, or you guys, like, the safest way to write this answer is in this form, like the fractional, 51 over 70. That's all. This is the final answer here. So, you want to ask, like S, we have. Yeah, open your microphone if you want to speak, like you can ask. So, I guess all clear, right? And then we can move. And okay, Echo Geeks. So you can speak as well.
Good evening. Am I
So,
audible? I would like to ask, why did we subtract? The bottom side. Please explain it again, please.
Of course, look, this 65, all the total people in like Swiss codes, right? And I'm subtracting these people, for example, 65 minus 12, to find how many people got at least 85. Because the question itself is saying you are selecting students from those who got at least 85. So therefore, I'm eliminating those who got like from 80 to 84. The easy way to find it, 65 minus 25, so you can find the sum of these people, or 65 minus 18, so you can find the sum of these people here in school B. And the same 65 minus 12, you can find the sum of like these people. I'm not adding separately, I'm just doing the subtraction. That's all.
Got it, thanks.
So, and now guys, we're on the question 13. That's also nice, like the common circle question, but I just added one more thing here. I added one more thing. Guys, let's give it a shot. So, let's start. We got a circle in the xy plane, has center for -9. A line is tangent to the circle at point -5, 8. If the slope of line is 3/5 and the point C18 lies on the line, what is the value of C divided by 8? Yes, let's just draw it. Like we have a center, we have a circle. I guess I cannot like draw it exactly. Somewhere here. And then like we got a tangent line at -5 and A. So let's say this is -5 and coordinates like -5, A. And the center for -9. The question is saying that the slope of the line is 3/5, okay, and C18 point. Guys, we have the point somewhere like here, C and 18, right? By using the 2 points, and we already know the slope, like the slope formula also, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, guys, we can easily find the value of C here. But first, we need the value of A. So how? To find the value of A, guys, when the radius and the tangent line intersect, they like create a 90-degree angle, like the right angle. So they are now perpendicular. And we know the rule to be perpendicular, right? So the product of the slope must be -1. The first slope, like the slope of the tangent line, let's say the slope of the tangent line is 3/5 now. So the slope of the radius must be -5/3. That's all, guys. Here we only use the slopes formula. The slope of the radius is -5/3. So the 2 points are -5A and -5A for -9. So I will write it to the decimals. -9 minus A divided by 4 minus -5 now equals to -5 divided by 3. And the value of A is 6. That's all, guys. We found the value of A, and by using these 2 points, guys, and again the slope, I'm gonna find what is the value of C here. So we already know that A, okay, and 18 minus A divided by, so C minus -5. And the slope now equals 3 divided by 5. So take the value of A, 6, okay. And the value of C is 15, that's all. A is 6, guys, C is 15. The question is asking to find C divided by A. It is 2.5 for 5/2. That's all, guys. I only used the slopes formula, nothing more. You just have to know the radius and the tangent line are always perpendicular. First of all, I got the value of A, and then after, okay, let me write it down here as well. divided by 4 minus 5 equals minus 5 divided by 3. And then we use the second slope formula to find the value of C. So, and guys, let's do like this. For the next question, like for the question 14, like for the 1 people who got the correct answer, guys, I will send you a gift in Telegram. Like maybe just a small gift, but let's do like this. It's a challenge. I guess all understandable, right? Question 14, first correct answer equal Telegram, like let's say gift, Telegram gift, that's all. So guys, there's your question. And that's, guys, great if it is with explanation as well. So a company developed a plan to set the selling price of product. The company determined that for a selling price of $63, 18 products would be sold. For each $3 decrease in the selling price, the number of products sold would increase by 2. What is the price per product when the company reached the maximum revenue? Okay, the revenue equals price times number of products sold. Okay, revenue, which is Y, equals, guys, just open 2 brackets. And for the first one, I'm going to write the price. And for the second, I'm going to write the number of products sold. And then when the price is $63, you can, guys, see that 18 products will be sold, And for each $3 decrease in the selling price, if you decrease the price $3, the number of products would increase by 2. Just add 2. That's all. And guys, one more thing here, we don't know like how many times the price is decreased, right? Like maybe 2, 3, or 4 times. So therefore, I'm gonna write it like X. 3 times X. And the same for this side, because if you increase the price, it also affects the number of products. And that's all. And understand, guys, like here, Y is the revenue. Like Y is the revenue. And then X is equal to like how many times price is like changed. Maybe there's an increase, maybe there is a decrease. Price changed. That's all. A question is asking what is the price per product when the company reached the maximum revenue. The maximum revenue, guys, is the vertex, because the question is now just in the quadratic form, like Y equals 63 minus 2x, and then 18 plus, the opposite, 3 and 2. And after, guys, just look for the maximum point. So the maximum we are now having at like this point. 1350, guys, is the maximum revenue, and to reach that revenue, the price must be increased, like decreased 6 times. So just plug 6 instead of the X. 63 minus 3 times 6. I'm, guys, like putting that X instead of the price here, and the price per product must be $45 to reach the maximum revenue. That's all. 45 is the correct answer. 45 is the correct answer. Great, guys. And now we're on the question 15. That one also good. Question 15. Let's see, guys. Oh, like we have people who want to speak. So somebody wants to speak?
Could you please explain to me how did it?
Which one?
Last part. Last question.
Alright, guys, let's just do. Okay, this is now the maximum point, right?
Yeah.
Here X is, as I'm telling you, like how many times you increase, like decrease the price, and to reach the maximum revenue. And if you decrease your price 6 times by $3 each, you can reach your maximum revenue. So therefore, for the price bracket, the original price was 63, and 3 times 6 that's the decrease in the price, which is $18, and we're just subtracting to get the price per product, $45. If you sell like the product per product $45, you can reach your maximum revenue here.
I thought that the question asked for revenue.
No, look, understand. It is asking the price per product to reach the revenue.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Great. Sorry, guys. Now you can keep on questions. Yeah, all of you are having the same answer, D. And of course, that's correct. Because, guys, there is just one concept. Okay, I'm gonna read. To investigate the effect of the magnesium supplementation on the sleep quality of adults, a researcher selected 190 adults at random from a community center to participate. Yeah, the sample is randomly selected. Okay, the researcher first measured the sleep efficiency of each participant. Each participant was then randomly assigned to take a magnesium supplement or a placebo each day for 6 weeks. Like they are dividing into two groups randomly, like randomly assigned. At the end of the 6 weeks, the researcher measured the sleep efficiency of all participants again and found that the magnesium supplement caused statistically significant improved sleep quality for the adults at the community center. Yeah, guys, magnesium helps, like, to sleep well. What feature of this study allowed the researcher to conclude the magnesium supplement caused these improved sleep quality? Guys, there is just one thing. Statistics to like define the cause and effect relation, guys. Right, like this. To get the cause and effect relation in this kind of the studies, guys, you always have to divide like the sample. Let's say the sample must be randomly assigned. That's all, guys. To determine the cause and effect relationship, if you divide your group like randomly, then guys you can easily get the cause and effect relation like all the time. And here, guys, we're having the same thing. Like the feature that allowed the researcher to conclude is that each participant was randomly assigned to take a magnesium supplement or a placebo. That's the key point here, guys. All the other options, nothing. There were more than 100 participants. No, were selected at random. Guys, just one more thing. Like if you want to generalize the result, like if you want to generalize to the bigger population, let's say to bigger population, the sample must be like randomly selected. If your sample, guys, is randomly selected, then you can generalize your result to the bigger population. For example, now you are selecting 190 adults from community center, and imagine in community center you have like 1,000 adults. And if your sample is randomly selected, then you guys can also generalize these results to other adults, like at the community center only. But it is not asking about the generalization now, so B is also out, and C, actually, not, guys, it is not correct. That's all. Abdulaziz, you want to ask? So,
Assalamu alaikum, teacher.
Alaikum assalam.
I just want to ask, what is the difference between randomly assigned and randomly selected?
Okay, selected. Imagine I'm telling you, like at the community center you have 1,000 adults, or like let's say 500 adults, and you are randomly selecting 190, like out of 500 adults, you're randomly selecting 190 to do the research, like to check the magnesium effect. And after, like you have to divide your group to just know the effect of the magnesium. Like you cannot only give the magnesium to all 190 people, right? You are dividing this like to two groups, and for the first you are giving the magnesium, and for the second it's the placebo. And then you can do the comparison. So randomly assigning is important to know the effect of the magnesium placebo. For example, you will check, those who got the magnesium plausible and those who got the magnesium like supplement and those who got the placebo. Then you can do the comparison. So therefore, we need randomly assigning to check the effect of something.
I understood. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you understood. So that's all. And now question 16. Guys, read the question well. Most of the students do like something, yeah, they will solve correctly, but when it comes to choosing the answer, they will, like, I don't know, do something wrong. So read the question well and then write the correct answer. Okay, so what is it saying? Instead of 4 consecutive odd integers, it is odd, guys. Where the integers are ordered from least to greatest, first represented by x. If the first one is x, the second is x plus 2, x plus 4, x plus 6, right? Because the difference between the consecutive odd integers is just 2. Like no matter odd even, it is just 2. And after the product of 28 and the third odd integer, we know the product that is like the multiply. 28 multiplied by third odd integer, which is x plus 4, is at most, guys. The word at most, it is less than or equal to. That's all. Is at most the value of 50 less than some of the first and first odd integers. Just one thing, guys. If you have something like a less than b, that means it is b minus a all the time. And now we're having that less than, and on the right side it is sum of the first. So the first is x, and the last odd integer, which is x plus 6, less than minus 50. That's all, guys. I'm creating an equation for the left side and right side. And then it is asking what is the greatest possible value of x. Write this equation to the decimals, like inequality. 28 times x plus 4. We have x plus 6 minus 50. And then, guys, you can just see that the value of x is now at most negative 6. Like the value of x is less than or equal to negative 6. But guys, please don't take negative 6 as in the answer, because your x must be what? Like odd integer, right? So therefore, the next odd integer after like that included here, the greatest one is negative 7. That's all. So the answer here, guys, is just negative 7. Or, yep, I guess all clear and understandable, right? Create an equation, write to the decimals, get the answer, and that's all. The next one is question 17 there. Like x getting something as in the constant. Let's see, guys. Okay, let's read the question. For the function f, for each increase in the value of x by c, where c is a positive constant, the value of f of x increased by a factor of 27. Guys, what does it mean increased by a factor of 27? Your function is multiplied by 27. Let's say it is multiplied by 27. That's all. When you increase the value of x by c, it is just multiplied by 27. Which are the following equal forms of the function f displays 1 over c as a coefficient of x? Guys, for this kind of a question, all the functions are the same. Like all the functions are the same, but only one represent as 1 over c as a coefficient of x. Like the coefficient of x, it might be 1 over 2, 1 over 6, 1 over 4, and 1 over 3 here. So, first of all, guys, let's find the value of c. What is the actual value of c? What I do, guys, I will randomly take any function. Guys, you can just work with any function here to know the value of c. So I'm going to choose the first f of x here now equals to 73, 3 here, and in the power we have like 1 divided by 2 times x. And guys, the question is saying that when you increase the value of x by c, what's the any value for like f x? Like I'm gonna say f of 5. now equals 27 multiplied by f of 5, like the opposite, guys. F of 5 plus c equals like 27 times f of 5. Why? Because that's now the original value multiplied by 27 when you increase the value of x by c. Yes, is it clear? Like we have f of 5, and when you add c to the x, it must be multiplied by 27. So therefore, I'm writing down like f5 plus c equals 27 times f of 5. And as you guys can see, the value of c is 1 over 6. The question is asking to represent like 1 over c as a coefficient of x, which is 1 over 6. And that one is just shown in the option B, like 1 over 6 as the coefficient of x. I'm only seeing option B. So the final answer is B here. That's all. I guess.
What about the What about the answer? If we multiply 1 over 3 to 1 over 2, it's gonna give us, I think, 1 over 6.
Of course, you'll get 1 over 6, but it is not represented as the coefficient of x. Like, it must be the coefficient just in the function. Like, do not multiply, do not add, or do not like do something. It must be just visible in the function itself. For example, here we found c equals 6, and 1 over c is just in the option B. Like, there is no 1 over 6 in the option D.
Understood.
Great. I guess we have like 5 more questions. So let's solve question 18. Let's read the question. In the triangle x, y, z, the measure of angle x is 90 degrees. So, we have the triangle x, y, z, and x is 90 degrees. Okay, x, y, and z. And question is saying that point W lies on segment YZ. Point W, let's put it here. And then after, and segment WX is perpendicular. So we have a segment WX like this. The length of WY is 612. So the length of WY, 612. And the length of segment WX is 459. This is 459. And question is asking to find tangent Z. So guys, to find the tangent Z here, we can use like different methods. For example, the first one is to find tangent Z. The ratio here is 459 divided by WZ, right? Because the tangent is the opposite angle divided by the adjacent. So the opposite is now WX divided by WZ. And here, guys, to find the WZ, you can easily use this formula. It is the right angle, and this is also right. So we know that 459 square equals, so 612 multiplied by WZ. Like this is the formula, guys, that come from like the projections. For example, this is 90 degree, and this is 90, height, x, y. And we know height square equals x times y. That's all. And then you guys first find the WZ, like 459 square equals 612 multiplied by, let's say, like A, and the value of A, this one. And to find tangent Z, we know WX, so 459 divided by A. And then it is 4 over 3. That's the first way, guys, to find an answer. Like we're finding the exact side lengths by using just one formula. And after it is seen that 4 over 3. But also, guys, you can just use this method. For example, if that angle is the alpha, this is 90 degree, and this angle is going to be 90 minus alpha. Like 90 minus alpha. The same, 90 minus alpha, 90. So this angle is also, guys, alpha. Like angle this and this one are the same. So that means if you find the tangent for this one, so the tangent alpha here is 612 divided by 459. 612 divided by 459. This is also like another way, guys. I just found two like same angles, and after still getting the correct answer, like 612 divided by 459, which is the same, 4/3. That's all, guys. I showed the boss way. Hope it was clear. And then, oh bro, come on. So we're having the question 19. So I guess I'm now audible because my laptop is a bit like lagging now. So look, it is now, you have 2 points like pass through the 5, 0 and f of 0 equals 15. What's the value of 5a plus b? Of course, guys, first of all, like if you enter both values to the decimals, it doesn't show you the correct answer. So therefore, just find the value of c firstly by using this point. Like when you apply 15 equals, now instead of x, I'll be using 0. So guys, you will have 0, 0, like everything will be just 0, and under the root, you're going to have c. So then after, the value of c is 225, right? And here, you guys can easily like do it on the decimals. Like the rest, you can just write to the decimals. Like we've got a function. So we have a function f of x equals square root of a, like x squared plus bx plus o. We have x cubed plus, and in the end for the value of c, I'm going to write 225. And then after, guys, you can just use this point like f of 5 now equals to 0. So that's showing us the values of a and b, and the question is asking 5a plus b. So the final is -70. As you guys can see, first we found the value of c, and I don't know why. Like I tried that method, like just writing the value of c, entering 2 points, but it didn't show. So therefore, we're finding the value of c firstly, and then after entering the points to find a, b. So then 5a plus b now equals -70. That's all, guys. This is the solid Desmos way.
Teacher, I have a question. I have a question.
So
Sometimes I write in decimals like f of 5 like tilde 0 and other f of something equals something, but it gives me separate answers.
So like therefore learn to write in one. Like if you have some other values, use the square bracket inside and open another, and you can use like multiple values here. For example, like something more, like if you write them separately, yeah, it shows you something different. So therefore use the square brackets inside and you can get the same answer, like the correct one.
Okay, thanks.
So Imran, you want to speak?
Ha,
So,
xullas, qarang, pointni shunaqa ham yozdim-ku, ikkinchi pointni.
of course.
Nimaga o'zi shunaqa moslashtirib chiqarmayapti?
Endi bilmadim, yo'g'on endi Desmos shunaqa ekanda, endi birinchisini topib keyin buni yozish kerak ekan.
Xullas o'shani topaman, tsani belgilab yozib ketaman, keyin ikkita point kirgizmasdan, mana f of 5 tilde 0 deb yozmasdan, yozsam ham bo'laveradi-ya. Tipa ikkita tochkani kiritish shart emas.
Yeah, of course. Like you can just use 0 here and then 15, but still we'll get the same answer.
Correct. Thanks.
Great. Now we have question 20, guys. Come on, like 3 questions left. Question 20. So let's solve and write your answers. So, guys, what is going on here? Arturo builds and sells 2 types of steel tables. The revenue Arturo generates from selling each square table is twice the his cost to build a square table. Yeah, of course. Like the revenue, guys, let's say twice the cost, like to build, right? For example, C is the cost to build, and the revenue equals 2C from a square table. And the revenue Arturo generates from selling each hexagonal table is 2.5 times his cost to build a hexagonal table. Of course, like let's say guys, it is gonna be another revenue, so I'm gonna use like M equals twice his cost to build, like 2.5 N. Guys, N is the cost to build. C and N are the cost. C and are like cost to build, and R and M are the revenues here. Question is saying in 1 year Arturo's total cost to build the table was 25,740. So guys, I'm directly writing to the decimals, like by using the square brackets here. The total cost, which means C plus N, now equals $25,740, right? And he generated a total revenue of 61,785. Guys, here I'm gonna write the revenue is 2C plus 2.5N, right? So I'm going to write it down like 2C plus 2.5N, which is now equal to 61875. That's all. And this is guys only the cost. Guys, do not get confused. They are now the cost. And we know that the revenue equals to C, and the first revenue, the second revenue equals 2.5N. And now these are the revenues. The question is asking how much greater is the revenue Arturo generated from selling hexagonal tables than the revenue generated from square tables. So we have to just subtract M minus R. The final answer, $42,075. You guys can also write from there, like from continuing in the square brackets. I'm just writing separately just to show. That's all.
Teacher, why did you add C plus N and 2C plus 2.5N?
Because C plus N is the cost, which is equal to $25,740, and 2C plus 2.5N is the revenue. Like question is saying that the total revenue was $61,875. So this is also the revenue I'm adding to get this one, like equalize $61,875. So is this now understandable?
So shuni chatga qaror olasizmi?
Of course, of course. Like WeChat, I can understand. Awesome. Yeah, you can also do the same. But after Imran, like you have to calculate the you have to find the revenues as well. Like now they are the cost. Like you have to find the revenues as well. That's all guys. And now question 21 and we have 22. So bro, come on. My laptop, bro, please bro. So yeah. Question 21 now. So 2 more questions and then guys we finish. So I guess we can start now. Okay, look guys, we got a function f is defined by f of x minus 29x. The function g is a decreasing linear function. In the xy plane, the graph of y equal f of x and y equal g of x intersect at 2 points hj, km, where j is greater than m. When g of x is greater than f of x, which of the following must also be true? Guys, you can write this thing just into the Desmos, like we can solve by using the Desmos, but you have to understand one more like point here. So g of x function, f of x function now equals negative 29 and then the power of x. So it is decreasing exponential with negative base. And g of x is the decreasing linear function. So just write one random decreasing as negative x minus negative 3 or negative like 2, let's say. And here guys, they are intersecting at 2 points. And just add the last thing, g of x must be greater than f of x. So g of x must be greater than f of x. Oh, g of x is now greater than f of x. And then what we are having here, it is guys just in this intervals, like at the left and right side of the interval. And this is the first intersection point, right? This is the first intersection point. And let's say that one is like h here. So guys, this point is h and x must be less than h. When guys you have this interval, like x must be less than h, where guys this is the point k, right? This is the point k, and your x must be greater than k. Your x must be greater than k. This is like the two intervals where g of x guys is greater than f of x. And then the final answer is C guys here. Yeah, like most of you, if I'm not mistaken, like wrote D or what? D. No guys, that was C now.
Teacher, I didn't understand anything in the text. Can you just translate it word by word? And why did you minus x minus 2?
So we got an f of x function, and look, g is a decreasing linear function, right? That does this. And like the rule to be decreasing linear function, the slope must be negative and the y-intercept is also negative. So therefore, like I'm randomly like writing the function here, and this one is decreasing like linear function. And question is saying that they are intersecting at 2 points, hj, km, and j is greater than m. Like the y coordinate of this point is greater than m. So therefore, I'm saying this is the point h, and this is the point like k, like the x value. And question is asking when g of x is greater than f of x, like g of x is now the linear function, like g of x is the linear function, and f of x is your exponential. And question is saying that g of x must be greater than f of x. In which intervals? Just look, in which intervals g of x is greater than f of x? Like as you can see here, the line is just above the exponential. So you will get this part, and the same on the right side, because there as well, like the line is greater than this one, like the exponential. And final, in which intervals? When your x is greater than h, or when your x is greater than k. Like I mean here, right? Just after k, where before the h points, the function g is greater than f. So therefore, the answer was C here. So, yeah, guys. Question 22, the final one. Let's do. So, for the polynomial function, the graph of y equal f of x in the xy plane contains the points like negative 6, 0, 7, 0, 0, 0, and 4, 0. Guys, they are all what? Like x-intercepts of the function, because the y coordinates are 0. Which of the following must be a factor of f of x? Guys, look. If it is the factor, it has to give you the solutions like -6, 7, 0, 4, right? And then now let's just check it, guys, with these equations, writing the decimals and seeing the solutions. Like I'm gonna write all of them one by one to the decimals to get the same solutions. So x squared, right? Bro, please. So we have x squared, and after -2x minus 24. So the solution that giving us -4 and 6. But guys, okay, 6, no, we don't have any this kind of the solution, right? It is giving us -4, 6. So the option A is out because it is not matching with the given solutions. And check the option B, guys. I'm gonna delete this one, x squared and minus x minus 42 and -6, and this one is 7. Do we have this kind of the answers? Yes, we have -6 and 7. So the answer is B here. And let's check the other ones to make sure. So x squared minus 11x minus 28, because we have no, they are not even integers like in option C. That's out. The last one, x squared plus 7x. Guys, look, it is giving us -7 and 0, but we need what? We need +7. Yep, 0 is the first solution, but the second one is not like -7. Like it must be +7. So therefore, the option D is also out. The final, the correct B. That's all, guys.
I got E,
Huh?
but I can't seem to find the 4 and O point.
Can I? 4 and what point?
4 and O point, the last one.
No, you don't have to find like all of them. Like just find the solution. If they are matching, like if the both solutions are matching, then it can be the correct. But now, no, that's all enough. Like 2 solutions, because it's all quadratics. We are having 2 solutions, and you just have to see like which 2 is matching with the given solutions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, guys, I guess it's now all clear, and yeah. Yep, guys, it is now all finished, and I hope like that was all like the questions clear and then like helpful. And one more thing, guys, I just like wish you like good performance, good score in your tomorrow's exam, and also like good luck, because the luck also matters at some points. And yeah, guys, I hope like you don't have any questions, and then yeah, I will share the answers, like the file, the recording, and then the like answers as well to the channel. And guys, good luck, goodbye, take care, have a good night.
Thanks for the lesson.
Goodbye.
Safe road home.